Good morning, children. 10th class student. Let us continue with the chapter Money and Credit. Notes, day 2. Yesterday we had done till I'm reading the last line. Check is a paper instructing the bank to pay specific amounts to the person in whose name the check has been made. This was your last line, and then I had made you write the heading, that is loan activities of the bank. So now you continue. Money deposited in bank. Money deposited in bank is further utilized. Is further utilized. Full stop. Banks keep a small proportion. Banks keep a small proportion of money deposited. Of money deposited. That is, write IE over there, IE. 15%. To make provision of payment to those depositors. To make provision of payment to those depositors who may want to withdraw money. Who may want to withdraw money. Next point, a major proportion of these deposits. A major proportion of these deposits are used to extend loans. To extend loans to those who are in need of funds. Who are in need of funds. FUNDS, funds. Full stop. Next point. Banks charge a higher rate of interest. Banks charge a higher rate of interest from those who take loans. Compared to what it pays. To the depositors. Full stop. Next point. The difference between the two. Is the single quotation marks income of the bank. Full stop. Bank plays the role. Of mediator. Between those who hold surplus. And those who require funds. Full stop. Next heading, two different credit situations. Write the subheading credit under different situation. Subheading for this topic only, credit under different situation. Credit under different situation. Put a dash, write the first point. When credit helps to fulfill production process and expenses so that it completes on time. Put a comma. It is said that year, HERE, that year, put a dash, credit plays an important positive role. Credit plays an important positive role. Next point, right over there, rural India. Rural India, put a dash. Credit is for crop production. Credit is for crop production. But sometimes, if crop fails, comma, farmers are unable to pay. Farmers are unable to pay it and are pushed in further debt. Full stop. Finally, they are forced to sell their land. They are forced to sell their land. Full stop. Credit in this case. Credit in this case, put a dash again, plays not only negative role, but also pushes the borrower, into such a situation, from where the recovery is painful. Recovery is painful. In bracket you may write debt trap. Debt trap. Full stop. Next heading, terms of credit. Terms of credit. First point, decide specific interest rate. Decide specific interest rate, comma, along with principal amount. Comma, banks may ask for. Bank may ask for collateral. Underline it. For bank may ask for collateral, single quotation marks, which can be the asset of the borrower. Asset of the borrower. Example, land, land, comma, building, comma, livestock, comma, vehicle, vehicle, or deposit with bank, or deposit with bank, and use this as a guarantee to the bank, as a guarantee to the bank, unless loan is repaid, unless loan is repaid. Next point, if borrower fails to repay, if borrower fails to repay, the bank may sell the collateral. The bank may sell the collateral and obtain the amount. Full stop. Thus, interest rate, comma, collateral, documents, collateral, comma, documents, and mode of repayment comprise the terms of credit. The terms of credit. Next heading, formal sector credit in India. Formal sector credit in India. First point, it includes banks and cooperatives. It includes banks and cooperatives. Put a dash, supervised by RBI. Supervised by RBI. RBI, full stop. Next point, banks maintain the minimum cash reserve. Banks maintain the minimum cash reserve. In RBI, which also monitors that banks cater to small traders and cultivators. Small traders and cultivators. Next point, all information of lending to whom, to whom, and at what interest rate, and at what interest rate is submitted to RBI, is submitted to RBI. Now please pay attention children over here. There you are supposed to leave at least 15 lines. 15 lines you're going to leave, and page number 48, one graph is given over there which is called as graph 1. Note it down, page 48, graph 1. In those 15 lines, you're going to make this graph. So after leaving 15 lines, you write this graph you can make later on. Just now, you leave 50 lines and leave it. Right over there, page 48, graph 1. You have to make over here. Now, after leaving those lines, write the next heading, informal credit in India. Informal credit in India. First point, it includes relatives, friends, moneylenders, traders, full stop. No institution supervisors, their activities, and interest rate, which often vary, vary, and it is sometimes very high. It is sometimes very high, due to which the borrower usually ends up in a debt trap. The borrower usually enters in a debt trap. Next point. For these reasons, it is required that bank should lend more credit. Bank should lend more credit for dash for cheap and affordable credit. For cheap and affordable credit is crucial for countries' development. Full stop. Now, again you leave 15 lines over here. And there is a graph which is given on page number 49, which is very, very important, which is graph 2. Okay, so in those 15 lines, there are 4 graphs which is there, which I had explained to you all while the explanation was going on, of poor household, household with few assets, well-off household, and very rich household. All those 4 graphs you have to make and write the details also. Okay, now after leaving those 50, this graph you can make later on. You leave those 15 lines and then you continue. From the graph, I am again repeating page 49, graph 2. From the graph, formal sector meets only half of the total credit. Formal sector meets only half of the total credit needs needs of the rural poor, of the rural poor, rural people. Remaining is catered by remaining is catered by informal sector. Informal sector. Full stop. Thus, it is necessary that banks and cooperatives increase their lending activities, increase their lending activities, particularly in rural areas, particularly in rural areas, so that their dependence, so that their dependence reduces on informal sector. Their dependence reduces on informal sector. Next point, loans from formal sector should expand, and it is necessary that everyone should receive loans. Everyone should receive loans. Full stop. Next subheading, next heading, self-help groups. Self-help groups in bracket right. SHG. SHG. First point, since banks are not present everywhere, since banks are not present everywhere, comma, in rural areas, comma, getting a loan from bank is difficult, as banks require proper documents and collateral. Which prevents poor from approaching a bank, which prevents poor from approaching a bank. Full stop. Next point. Instead, they approach local money lenders who are willing to give loans, without collateral, without collateral, comma, may charge very high interest rate, may charge very high interest rate, comma, keep no records, and harass poor borrowers, full stop. In recent years, a new concept has emerged. Comma, rural poor organize. Rural poor organize into self-help groups. Into self-help groups. Underline this. Self-help groups. For a dash, particularly women. Full stop. A typical SHG has a typical SHG has 15 to 20 members who who pool pool their saving pool their savings from 25-100 rupees or more. 15 to 20 members who pool their savings from 25 to 100 rupees or more. Next point. Members can take small loans. Members can take small loans from SHG. From SHG, full stop. Group charges minimum interest rate. Group charges minimum interest rate, comma, after a year or two. After a year or two, for a dash, if SHG is regular. If SHG is regular, you can use the short form for SHG, self-help groups. If SHG is regular, it may avail loan from bank. It may avail loan from bank, comma, which is sanctioned to SHG to create self-employment opportunities. To create self-employment opportunities or to release mortgage mortgage land. Mortgage means what we call in Hindi, what we give as security, जिसको हम गिरवी रखवाते हैं. Mortgage land and purchase machinery. Purchase machinery, full stop. Next point, SHG are responsible. SHG are responsible for repayment of loan. For repayment of loan, full stop. In case of non-repayment, in case of non-repayment by one member, comma, the matter is taken seriously. The matter is taken seriously by other members. Other members, full stop. Last line in this, therefore, banks are willing to lend funds. Banks are willing to lend funds to SHG even without collateral. Even without collateral, full stop. Then you write subheading of SHG only, advantages. Advantages. SHG overcome Problem of collateral. Problem of collateral. Full stop. Regular meetings provide a platform to discuss issues like health, comma, nutrition, comma, domestic violence, comma, security, etc. Last heading, conclusion. Conclusion. Economic activities require loan and credit. Economic activities require loan and credit. Loan and credit. Full stop. Credit may have negative or positive impact. Full stop. It is essential that formal sector. It is essential that formal sector increase credit facilities, and fulfill needs and demands. Fulfill needs and demands of rural people on informal sector. On informal sector. Full stop. Here we end, children. Okay, this completes your next chapter. In the next class, we are going to do about globalization. So please be ready for it.